did Shedeur put pressure on Kevin Stefanski? So we're just going to give you the topic right out.
Yeah.
And the most important thing that I think happened on Friday is if Kevin has any sort of preconceived notion with Shedeur left, you can no longer tell us Shedeur's not ready because he played so much better than he should have by how the Browns talked about him previously. That is a way to keep Kevin Stefanski honest.
Oh, yeah. That's what makes all this stuff so important is making sure that it keeps him honest. So how I had it phrased was, does this make you feel better about Stefanski?
No.
And but that answer for me was yes.
Well, no. I mean, so here's the thing. I've settled into this spot of I think Kevin could have been fired last year because I do think the troops were lost a bit. That's something that Diana Rossini basically said of the lack of juice at the end of the year and how bad things got.
Yeah.
But now that he's here, this quarterback room and how they run it, this is going to go a long way, even more so maybe than wins and losses. So do I think Shedeur playing well keeps Kevin a little more honest because you can't just say, well, he's not ready, he's not good, this, that, or the other. And now Kevin has to kind of display this week and certainly over the next couple weeks and months that he actually is going to stay intellectually honest with the quarterback position.
It's just that piece that Mary Kay had over the weekend, and it's just a little piece of information that we've not been privy to, but it does go a long way. The idea that Shedeur has been obviously working on some of the pre-snap stuff, but it's not just that he's been working on it. It's that Stefanski, while he'd been working on it, off in other fields while practices were going on, was behind Shedeur and was doing a checks and balances of sorts and really kind of making sure that he was getting and understanding what he was trying to say. Because my impression of it had always been, Nick, that basically Shedeur comes out there, he does his reps, and whatever Shedeur does is on Shedeur. I liked hearing that Stefanski was dedicating time to trying to build up Shedeur and actually putting some stock into what he can do.
Yeah, the problem is then you go back to the reps. And then you go back to the narrative, and I'm not saying Kevin created this narrative, but the narrative that Shedeur wasn't NFL
I know,
ready.
so maybe I'm being too easy on Kevin because I'm looking at it and saying, oh, at least he was doing something, which maybe shouldn't be a high enough bar to clear.
Yeah, I mean, I listen, my only problem with Kevin to this point, this camp and whatever, is that Shedeur has been kept out of this quarterback battle. And the other three, like I can't stress enough, it's not about Shedeur, it's about the other three quarterbacks. The other three quarterbacks are Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel. The entire quarterback battle on some level compared to what happens in almost every other market that isn't Indy or New Orleans, it is the island of misfit quarterbacks. The idea that Shedeur should be othered in that is the only problem I've really had with Kevin and how this goes.
Listen, I've been arguing about it for a while myself. I've not been pleased with the idea and what they tried to sell us on why Shedeur wasn't getting the same opportunities because I just never really bought into it. But the fact that he got 14 snaps today and the fact that he led the quarterbacks today in opportunities, I have to at least give Stefanski, and maybe he'll end up proving me wrong, but in this coming week, I have to give him the chance to go ahead and say that what he saw on Friday meant something and that he's going to build towards that, and this will be the opening that Shedeur needed.
216-474-0092. Did Shedeur put pressure on Kevin Stefanski?
I mean, let's be honest about it. In many ways, it seems like he really did fall into this with Shedeur.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why if I was sitting here trying to tell you that Stefanski deserves a bunch of credit, I'd be lying out of my you-know-what.
Well, this is where I'd like to point out, you've said if Shedeur takes over at some point and plays well, there's going to be the spin of, hey, we knew it this whole time. This is why we did that.
And I told you, it's not. We see that coming from a mile away, and it already makes me angry.
You kind of just did that with Kevin Stefanski.
So what I did there, though, is I gave him too much credit, and I shouldn't have yet. I gave him too much credit, and I shouldn't have yet. I really loved the idea that he's actually been setting aside time for Shedeur, but you're right. I shouldn't look at a couple. Hey, we paid attention to you for brief moments as some sort of big gift to Shedeur Sanders. I really shouldn't look at it that way.
Nick Camino tweeting out, Brown star defensive end Myles Garrett was pulled over early Saturday morning at 2:01 a.m. for speeding in Strongsville, according to police. Garrett was clocked going 100 miles per hour in a 60-mile-per-hour zone. He was given a citation here.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like Shedeur's leadership is really being felt across the organization.
Well, I mean, come on. Myles was getting in traffic citations long before Shedeur Sanders.
But he wasn't going 100 and 60. That's a Shedeur special right there.
I mean, Shedeur didn't even go
Teaching
100.
Him how.
Shedeur didn't even go 160. It was
went
like
101.
91. Wasn't it 90? Was it 101?
It was 101. Why are you trying to lop some miles per hour off there?
I just figured if I just keep every time we talked about it, I just lopped off like 10. Maybe by like December, it'd be like he went 66 or 65.
Yeah, I mean, no, we don't even get busted for that.
The guy had it out for him. Wait, now where is Myles Garrett's special police card to get him out of these situations?
Oh,
his get out of jail free
card. Do you
think
Myles thinks he's above that? Because I could see Myles' ego being like, I'm just going to say I'm Myles Garrett, and that should be my FOP card.
Early Saturday morning, so that means how was he already back home? Did they fly right after the game, and did he get back home? Or in this instance,
you're right.
Is this instance is Saturday morning really Sunday morning? Is what he meant to say? Because like 2:00 in the morning on Saturday, the way this is phrased, lets him believe that. I mean, the game ended at like 10:30. Maybe they just got back right away. But again, maybe he only would have been going 90. Or maybe if Shedeur hadn't talked to him in during the game. Maybe they did get back, and then this was him driving home from getting back from the airport. This is already way too intense. I just wanted to make a bunch of cheap shot jokes about Shedeur going 101. Well, yeah, but you know what the answer is going to be. All the media types that want to discuss this type of thing is going to be like, well, I don't care if as long your quarterback does it, I care about it. Anybody else don't really care. Now, here's what I will say. I'd prefer that the team is dealing with speeding issues. I like this trend as opposed to whatever Deshaun or Quinshon Judkins separately have been accused of on different fronts. Do we have to get some of the the Sesame Street police to come in and do a talk? I don't think we do. I'm trying to think. They have a lot of guest speakers in Berea. I'm trying to think of who we could get in to maybe make them not go so fast on the roadways. No, that could get serious very quickly. I was going to start making jokes, and I was like, no, that could be. We're not going to go there. Oh, okay. You started making jokes. So I didn't know when we were hitting the break button. Unlike Myles Garrett. So, to talk about the Myles Garrett news, I'm sure this man's not going to be surprised by it. Nothing gets by the goalie. Never catches him off guard. With our very own Browns beat reporter, Daryl Ryder, brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Hey, friendo.
I think this is his fourth 100-mile-per-hour citation, I believe.
That's Connect 4. You usually win the game at that point.
If he gets a fifth, he gets a free prize.
Is the free prize somebody else drives your car for 6 months? A chauffeur? By the way, that is not free. I mean, not that it matters. I mean, Myles is making $40 a year. He'll be fine. So did this surprise you, Daryl?
No. That's why I posted it's not the first time he's been hit with a citation for doing that. So
should we just get him like a Honda Civic? Those are really hard to go 100 in.
I don't know. It depends what kind of Honda Civic you get. Are we talking street legal or are we talking
it's true.
Fast and Furious?
We don't want to soup it up. I was thinking my first car was a 1986 Toyota Camry hatchback that by the time I got it, my mom had been in a fairly significant accident so it had damage above the wheel well, but the wheel was fine. Maybe we just unearthed that. And if Myles could get that son of a gun to go 60, he'd be lucky.
Well, maybe we can give Myles my first car, which was a Plymouth that it didn't have fuel injection. You had to pump the gas to get the thing to turn over and start. And when it didn't, you had to hook it up to the battery charger in the barn and then you crossed your fingers and prayed it'd turn over at some point. I have an Amish housekeeper that maybe we can get like a horse and buggy situation. I would keep her away from Amish for that might Myles. Actually be a good development for Myles. If she's on Rumspringa. He needs a little bit more Amish in his life. I don't think he needs any more of anything. I think he's doing quite fine. He needs no cars for a while is what he needs. Daryl, do you agree with me that the national reaction to this will be he's not a quarterback, I don't care? Myles? To Myles, yeah. The same people that ripped Shedeur Sanders and basically called him the world's worst human for going 101 is going to be the same people that turn around and say he's not a quarterback. I don't care what he does. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know that there's going to be much of a reaction to this. Daryl, looking to Shedeur from Friday. I know you had your show yesterday, but just for people who didn't hear it yesterday, thoughts on Shedeur's performance in the preseason opener on Friday night? I thought he was good. He's not there yet. He's not ready to be a starter just yet, but certainly lived up to expectations, did everything that was asked of him. There were a couple little red flags and bad habits that did show up, but it didn't hurt him. And that's what's most important, that he was able to navigate being backed up. on his own end zone multiple times. He was able to do a 2-minute offense effectively and put points on the board, led 3 touchdown drives. So no complaints with the results, threw receivers open, which is good to see. Had some guys make some plays for him. But overall, I think Shedeur Sanders did a very, very good job Friday night.
The second depth chart has come out. Joe Flacco 1, Kenny Pickett 2, Dillon Gabriel 3, Shedeur Sanders 4. Are you surprised there was no movement with Shedeur?
No. I mean, Kevin Stefanski and the organization are not going to be moved by what you, me, the national media, anyone has to say about Friday night. They are sticking to their plan with their process. That was the depth chart going into the preseason opener. It's not a surprise that it's unchanged. I'm looking for Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett to get all their work this week in Philadelphia during the joint practices. And then if healthy, Dillon Gabriel, this is my expectation and my best guess. Dillon Gabriel starts, Shedeur Sanders finishes that preseason game against the Eagles on Saturday afternoon.
So specific to like their process is not being interrupted here. Shouldn't something that surprises you, shouldn't that have some impact on the process if the process isn't crap?
Well, what if they weren't surprised?
I mean, they've given the guy as fewer reps as you possibly could. He was throwing to Tom in accounting as recently as a week ago. If they saw what they saw in the preseason game number 1 and were not giving him reps, I think I would question them more than if they were surprised by what they saw on Friday. No?
Yeah, he did get a fair amount of 2 reps today, which was good to see. But look, I understand where you're coming from. I think this is a big week for Dillon Gabriel, who did do a nice job today in practice. He actually looked like he belonged on the football field, which has been a rare occurrence during this training camp. So positive steps for him. And if Dillon Gabriel, I think, if anything, Shedeur has applied pressure to Gabriel now because of what Shedeur did Friday night. Now you got to go out and top that, not just on the practice field, but you've got to go now do that in a preseason game, right? Can you run a 2-minute drill? Can you get off the goal line with success? Can you lead multiple touchdown drives? Can you throw guys open? Can you evade pressure? Even though you gave, I think, everyone a heart attack while doing it on multiple occasions, can you elude the pressure successfully and things like that? So for me, I think not so much with the change of the depth chart, but what Shedeur was able to accomplish was apply pressure now to Dillon Gabriel to go out there and perform on Saturday at a level equal to, if not above, than what we saw from Sanders Friday night in Carolina.
Daryl, what happened at today's practice? It seemed like from your tweets and judging from other beat reporters' tweets, it was a very good day for all quarterbacks involved.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked to learn that there's an offense on this team. I mean, guys were catching touchdown passes, which is not something we've been privy to during this training camp. It was a lot of fun to watch. They were able to move the football effectively. They did end to half, end to game, however you want to look at it. Situations, get into field goal range, get the kickoff, things like that. But yeah, all 4 quarterbacks did a really good job with their reps, especially in the red zone, throwing touchdown passes. I would say that Flacco's throw to Jerry Jeudy on the far side was a thing of beauty. Gabriel's throw to Deontay Johnson in the end zone, that was very well done. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. It was arguably the best practice to date for the quarterback room collectively.
Daryl, what does this week mean for Kenny Pickett?
Well, it's a pretty big week for him too if he wants to seriously be still in this competition. Obviously, hamstring injury is not his fault. You hate that it happened because it does kind of skew some things, but I think Kevin Stefanski is getting close to wanting to get this thing narrowed down here. Now, he won't say it. He won't tell us how close he is to making the decision of being ready to make the decision. But the sense that I get just reading between the tea leaves, they want to get this thing sorted out here pretty soon. So I think this is a fairly important week for Pickett to be healthy and to be able to go out there and participate against the Eagles. He's gotten a lot of first-team reps similar to Dylan Gabriel. I mean, they've been trying to give him opportunities. So if he's healthy, it'll be important for him to take advantage of that this week.
Non-quarterbacks aside, who do you think this is a big week for?
Well, I would probably say the receiver room because, there are just so many questions in that room right now outside of Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman. I guess you can throw Jamari Thrash in there just, I guess, by default. Caden Davis, I think a mixed bag. Everyone's going to look at the 2 touchdowns he caught Friday night against the Carolina Panthers, but I look at a couple of plays where he did not get the depth that was needed to extend drives on a couple of catches too, or a couple throws from Shedeur. And to me, that stuff matters just as much as, catching the touchdown passes. So I think it's a pretty big week there for that receiver room if your names are not Jerry Jeudy or Cedric Tillman.
Daryl, really good stuff. Any other cheap jokes about Myles going 160-mile-an-hour zone? Would you like to get anything off there?
Not any that I can tell on the air, no.
Can you text me and then I'll read them? It's like, it's Bill and Chagrin. Definitely not Daryl Ryder. Ooh, actually, no. We actually had a caller call in earlier and suggest that or asked us rather, if the Saints called today and offered you a second-round pick, would the Browns say no? Where do you land on that insane hypothetical that we indulged for way too long earlier in today's show?
For who?
For Shedeur.
Oh, I'd have to chew on that one. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no because I think there is a chance, not this year. I still think there's a chance Shedeur Sanders could be a pretty good starter in the National Football League.
Wait, not this year means you think next year, which means the Browns wouldn't take a quarterback, or they'd take a quarterback. And
they're going to take a quarterback. Come on, we know how this movie ends, Jonathan.
So they take a quarterback, but then Shedeur is the.
They will draft 4 quarterbacks in 2 years. I could see them trading up to draft the quarterback next year and still drafting another quarterback in the middle rounds. They are going to start swinging for the fences on this thing because time is of the essence for them to find that franchise guy on a rookie contract.
Daryl, excellent stuff, buddy. Appreciate you. Enjoy whatever happens this week. I'm sure it's going to be interesting.
Have a great week, guys.